Oh, yeah. Sunday nights. Brentocast, I don't know which one because I've lost count. Firing up some beef franks from my animal friends that live here. And just pontificating on the events of the week because it was a pretty epic week, I have to say. The band had a little, show/practice. It was a show for not too many people at Backstreet Mercantile, but it was on a back porch in Gold Hill, which kind of made it pretty scenic and very cool, and went off without a hitch, and we had a really good time, and hopefully maybe playing back there again in a couple weeks. But the weather could not have been nicer, and getting a chance to play outside is a little bit of a change up from our regular gig at Loafers and Legends. So that was super fun, probably 66 degrees, and had an absolutely amazing time. I was so thrilled and so excited because we were supposed to have our first practice with our drummer. I'm not going to out the guy's name because really what's the point, you know? All these people say they want to play and they kind of string you along. You probably picking up on what I'm laying down here. Our first rehearsal after meeting the guy, playing with him once, the first band rehearsal was supposed to happen last Sunday, and he gave us some news about having trouble getting home from his National Guard training and truck overheating and whatnot. And of course I was, really cool about it and said, well, we'll just make it work next week. And then, of course, confirmed with him in the middle of the week. I was like, hey, we're still good for Sunday at 2. He responded back immediately. Sounds great. I was like, cool, see you then. Sunday at 2 comes, me and Harrison are there. But new guy is not there, does not respond to my text, does not answer my phone call. Of course, that means I won't be communicating with this individual further because they don't really want to play. But I just don't understand the mindset to spend all that time spinning somebody up and for no reason, really, if you know you're not going to follow through. But, I guess if a guy gets to be 60 and doesn't have a band or a history of playing in a band, then that's probably, got to do more with his personal life than the band anyway, so I'm not going to take it personal. But as an interesting aside, I sort of posted what I just said on Facebook in a statement, something like this. I said, if I were Al Di Meola, for those of you not in the know, one of the best solo guitarists there are, I said, if I were Al Di Meola, I wouldn't have to worry about, a drummer showing up for a rehearsal, et cetera, et cetera. Freaking Al Di Meola hits me right back because I tagged him. He's like, believe it or not, I tend to make drummers run screaming. Good luck, pal. This guy is a major guitar hero type celebrity, so I was sort of blown away by the response, and that was really cool. But anyway, I digress. Some other gigs coming up, just not moving forward with the electric gig. But as it turned out, and as is always the case with me and Harrison, we have a plan B. When we plan to practice with anybody, the assumption is that something's going to go wrong and somebody's not going to show up, so always have something else to do. So as a matter of course, we were ready today, and we went ahead and started rehearsing the Christmas music. That went really well. So we got several songs in order, made some demos to send Tony for learning the percussion parts or possibly flute parts for some of that stuff. So I'm excited that our show on December, I believe it's 2nd or 3rd, Loafers will be very cool, and I hope to set up some other things. For sure, we'll play at Albemarle Nutrition at some point, and I plan to play also at least an hour set at Baden Coffee at some point. We just kind of have to come together on the dates. And that'll be fantastic. Now, another thing that sort of threw the weekend off was that Delilah, my granddaughter, was sick, unfortunately. I'll tell you what, we put her in school about a month ago, preschool, and she's missed about 2 weeks out of that month from being sick. So I don't know, man. She never got colds like this before. So I'm kind of a little turned off by the fact that she just stays sick from going to preschool. And this is probably her most serious cold yet. So, it was a little challenging to watch her all weekend. And we had to watch her extra because Summer and her boyfriend went with her boyfriend's dad to a NASCAR race, which, if you've ever been to one, is an all-day affair. But just like always, Summer didn't hurry to get back. So, Delilah's wanting her mama. We're trying to keep her entertained. And then she gets back like at 9:30 at night. So that's typical. Par for the course. You try to help out and you're always taken for granted. Both of my kids, unfortunately, are that way. But, not crying over spilt milk. We love spending time with her. I hate she was sick. And, but anyway, we carried on. Once we got the medicine in her, she'd be fine for a couple hours and we'd go do stuff. But then she'd get to feeling bad again. But last night, I digress, we got the word that we were welcome to help ourselves to some leftover pumpkins from a PTO fund drive in exchange for a donation to the Oakboro PTO. Well, we go out there like a bunch of bandits at about 7:30 at night and load up 40 pumpkins in my vehicle. This is filling it up in the back and filling it up all the way up next to Delilah. There are pictures on my website and Facebook page, and it was crazy. And Nancy liked it so much she wanted to go do it again the second day. So this morning we ran out there, filled it up again, and ultimately brought back 81 pumpkins, which are now in front of Albemarle Nutrition and make up Delilah's Pumpkin Patch. Yay! So we'll be selling those for the store and giving a few of those to local businesses. So it should be lots of fun. It sure was fun loading them up, although it was a little laborious. I definitely could use the exercise, and I did. So all good there on that front. But yeah, I thought it was interesting to be the great pumpkin caper. Where did all the pumpkins go? Well, here they are. But anyway, I digress. We had a really good time doing it. But overall, pretty epic Sunday and Saturday after a very, very busy week. Lots of massages this week. Actually did some extras to kind of make up for missing massage sessions due to having a little cold the other week. Now I'm out here looking at my cats chowing down on the chicken that we brought home for them. We try to not feed them strictly cat food, which they had cat food for a few days, and now they've got milk and chicken. So they have a varied diet, and I think that sort of keeps it interesting for them. Unfortunately, one of our porch cats at the barn got ran over. We called her Priscilla. She was the white one. Very, very pretty. I was sorry to hear that. And our neighbors also fed her, and they kind of laid claim to her as well. And they went and looking for her when she didn't show up, and they said they found her in the street. So that I'm glad somebody else had to, was able to deal with that, and I didn't have to do it. But very, very sad. That being the case, I'm going to go ahead and accelerate my plans to relocate all of those cats to the, at least all the kittens, to my home. We got a freaking herd of cats here, but they're mostly male, and as long as there are no females, I guess if there's a female, I think there is one female, which we'll go ahead and get her fixed. But there's a gray male with green or yellow eyes. I'm calling him Churchill because he reminds me of that cat in Pet Sematary. But gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. It's not often that I look. I'm more of a dog person. It's not often that I look at a cat and go, I really want that to be my cat. But this is a really beautiful cat, and I'm missing Frosty, who was killed tragically earlier this year. But I just think I want that cat, and it's just really weird. It just hit me very hard because he's got a really intense stare, and he's not like totally domesticated, but he's not wild either. He'll get close to you and rub up against you, but so far I haven't been able to pick him up. But I figure I'll just withhold their food for a day, and that'll make it easier for Liam to catch him and maybe bring him home, put him in the kennel for a day or two until he gets used to things. But and then, of course, Cooper has to get used to him. Another thing we're hoping to do very soon is reactivate the chicken coop down here and put lights and a radio down there because Delilah wants chickens. She's made it known to me, and we want to do that for her. Animals are a big, big deal to her and to us, and we do eat a lot of eggs, so we'd be back into those fresh eggs because that is awesome. I'm sitting here watching our cats. I believe that is Chino and Chester, and we have two black cats that are almost identical, and if you see them from the top, that's Chester. He has yellow eyes. Mama cat has different kind of fur, but even though it's black, and has green eyes. But the little tabby-looking cat, I call him Chino. He's getting big, though. And then we got Applesauce, which is brother to Frosty, although his appearance couldn't be more different. He's white with like kind of coarse hair, and just not at all. He has similar temperament, but not at all like, doesn't feel like or look like Frosty. So it's really kind of funny. What have we been watching? Well, we have been watching a show called The Patient on Hulu. And I got to say, that was pretty darn cool, what we've seen so far. It looks like we've kind of gotten to the end of it, or they're just sharing it like one episode per week or what have you. But we watched a bunch of them, and they were super cool. Need to get back to trying to finish that Sandman show, but unfortunately, the last episode of it that we watched, to me, was very bad. It was just poorly written. It's like somebody different wrote it, and just kind of took me out of it. They got new CBS original programming streaming on Paramount that looks like that Dick Wolf type stuff, NYC. Okay, so it's East New York. All police dramas are basically the same. But obviously, beauty is being very demanding. Oh, I did watch the first episode of Clive Barker's Hellraiser series. I got to say, there are certain hallmarks of Clive Barker. I mean, the dude is an amazing writer. I can't even short him on that. But, of course, him being sort of a sexual deviant type person, he tends to write his shows and stories full of these type characters. So they're always like smokers, drug abusers, homosexuals, people that I can't really relate with that much. So when they tend to get like minced up by, I guess I'm less sympathetic is what I'm saying on the whole. But anyway, it's just an observation. But the show looks well made, and the Cenobites, man, I could care less if it's a male or female Cenobite. The main Cenobite the makeup looks incredible. So as an old school guy with visual effects, of course, I appreciate that. Even though there are things about the show I don't love, I appreciate it. But it's Hulu.com, movie/Hellraiser if you want to check that out. But the first episode was very, very strong. Sorry for all the sound effects. We got Cooper behind me here really wanting out, but I have to start putting him up at night because he gets a little wild. I think I am going to let him run, though, because he's been chitched up for a few days. Sunday night's one of the few times that I feel like I can let him out, but if I do that, that means the cats don't get to finish their chicken. So let me just give you a couple more pieces of chicken, Guy, and leave you in there for a little bit. So, man, these animals are spoiled, dude. I mean, beef franks and, let's see if that's too hot to handle. Too hot to handle, too cold to hold. All right, I'm going to give you 2 of these. Take 2 of these and call me in the morning. I should shut him up for a little bit. Beauty, I actually gave her a raw one. She was like, "What are you doing, Honky? I don't eat raw meat. Are you kidding me?" You'd think a beef frank, she would just... Yeah, so Cooper is acting... He wasn't super interested in those, so I know he got enough chicken. It's funny that my animals don't expect to get cold chicken. They want it heated up, and I just find that a little bit... Oh, those are cooked right. Woo! Woo! I'm going to have 2 of those and 1 or 2 of these green drinks. Man, these Suga green energy, well, not energy drinks, but green drinks, like celery juiced out and stuff. These things are awesome, and they make you super regular. They do help lose weight. Even if you have a slip-up in the day, you hit 2 of those, you're getting all your essentials. So I am going to slam 2 of those sweet beets. I cannot stand the beet ones, though. I cannot stomach those. Something about the beet. It's really good for you. Maybe I will try to. That one's got orange and banana and apple and carrot. Maybe I can do that one. There's one here that's got apple, mango, banana, cucumber, lemon. That sounds good. But there's one that doesn't have any of the nice stuff apart from apple. Here. It's called the Mighty Dozen. It's apple, celery, cucumber, kale, and collard greens. That's pretty tough. You got to slam that. It's not there for taste. Let's just put it like that. But yeah, those are really good. I recommend them. Then I got some blueberries for after that. And yeah, still trying to work on losing the old gut. But also, had kind of forgotten about this, but Baden Inn is having a jazz concert next Saturday night, which we just got our tickets for. I think it's like maybe saxophone, bass, and piano or something like that. I listen to them. They're really good. They sort of do the Great American Songbook instrumental versions. I'm into it, man. Do have to make sure I have nicer clothes to wear. I won't be wearing shorts to that. And good deal, too. Like, if you buy 2 tickets, it's like $50 each person. There's alcohol involved, but we don't need alcohol. Drink alcohol, of course, but also some food. So, yeah, neat. Real similar to the thing that we sort of played for that benefit out there at that place for the Mary Martha Foundation. So it's kind of neat to be on the other end of that, just sort of watching one of those shows from the observation deck. But yeah, practice went really well. Songwriting went really well. Working on getting the pieces to the V-Hill project finished. I had a session this week already. I had another session on Wednesday to add keyboards on 3 of those songs, and potentially another 3, I guess, in another session after that. Or he might be trying to do all of those in one session, so I'll have to figure that out for the pay to be accurate. But yeah, excited about that. And then it's going to be back to the studio for Ansel Brown's record, which is probably about 4 or 5 songs being recorded away from being in a kind of a semi-finished state. So, I don't know. Hopefully that'll turn out. I got high hopes for it, for sure. Now my little dog is yelling at me. Hey, come feed me, Pop. You know, this is my night, every night of the week. Getting the animals straight. That's my duty. I noticed that, as was my plan, I haven't really propagated these out to iTunes yet. So none of these podcasts have had a single download, which is fine. I will eventually propagate those out, but as for right now, I'm not super concerned about it. Just want to keep them being consistent and just sort of sharing the insight into the things that went down on the video vlog every week, just for an added little layer of what happened for future watchers with the family that might want to look back at it. What happened with Delilah this week was that she was sick, but we still played and did a few things, and probably a little shorter on the videos this week with the Delilah content, but it was super cute what we got. You get to see her raiding the pumpkin patch 2 times, and that's about it for that video this week. But you can, of course, always check out, it did have 2 parts to it, 2 shorter parts, so check that out on BrentBowers.com. On the weekly vlog page, I'm going to look for something to watch tonight. Nancy has been super into Korean and Chinese supernatural-like dramas, like where these people dressed in traditional clothing and they're actually in heaven or some sort of variation, and they're all 10,000 years old and all this crazy Monkey King magic. So it was kind of funny to me that my old partnership in MVP often involved a lot of stuff that alluded to that kind of content. The old Monkey King being in Seat for Chaos and all that. If you don't know what that film is, you haven't visited our website or my website. But it's funny. She watched something called Alchemy of Souls and really fell in love with that show. And so now she's seeking content out like that. And I'm okay watching that once in a while, but every night, no. But she, I think, is genetically predisposed to love Asian films because she came from Asia and doesn't really know much about the culture, so it's kind of a craving that she sort of indulges in, which I think is perfectly healthy. But I digress. Tomorrow will be the first time people at the store get to see Delilah's Pumpkin Patch, and I'm super excited about that. I think I have a reasonable day, probably like a total of 3 hours of massage with 4 clients, so shouldn't be a tough day. Should have some time to get my things going. And hopefully I'll get the hair back for my Oswolf product and get that out at Halloween or close to Halloween. Make a little money, but we will see. I'm going to keep working on new gigs for the guys. Keep getting that Christmas show together. Really excited about playing as much as possible. You never know when all the playing comes to an end, so you want to get those shows in when you can. And I got a young fella eager to play. I always said, man, I hope you had a good time today. I to Harrison. I was like, I appreciate you doing this with me, and hope you had a good time. And that's the whole point of all this. If you're ever not having a good time, let me know. And he goes, anytime I have a guitar in my hands, I'm having a good time. And I was like, dude, I feel the same. I mean, we are simpatico on that score. So that's amazing. But we're coming up to that 20-minute mark. But I feel like it's time to end this so I can go have a quiet evening, unwinding my first little bit of time to me for the last 2 days since I've had Delilah. So going to enjoy that. Hope you guys have a great week. And we'll just let you know what happens next week and what's coming up. But stay tuned to Brentocast, and I'll be back at you as soon as it's prudent to do so. Good night. God bless.